All right, let's get right into it. The last few One Piece chapters have been, just an absolute roller coaster, right? And it all led up to this, the God Valley flashback we've been waiting for forever. And you know how it's been? Just waiting week after week with these huge breaks in between, it's felt like an eternity. The whole community's been on the edge of their seats, and what Oda finally gave us, well, it sent a massive shockwave through the fandom, just maybe not the one we were all bracing for.
For as long as we can remember, God Valley has been one of the great One Piece mysteries. This legendary, almost mythical event where Rocks, Roger, and Garp all clashed, and then the island just vanished from the map.
The hype was unreal. We were all expecting answers to questions that had been bugging us for literally decades. And look, the flashback absolutely delivered some huge reveals, but it also created this incredible clash. The world of fan theories we've all built up versus what Oda actually put on the page.
So let's talk about that clash. This is really where things get interesting, because a lot of the theories that have been passionately debated in the community for years, they got turned completely on their heads by what we saw in the manga.
Okay, here's a perfect example. We were all pretty much convinced we were going to see Whitebeard get his famous scars from an epic duel with Figureland Garling. It just made perfect sense, right? But nope, in the flashback, they don't even cross paths.
And that led to a lot of people saying, wait, what? Is this a plot hole? Did Oda forget? But here's the thing. There's a crucial little detail that explains this and a lot of other things that seem like contradictions. We'll circle back to that in a minute, I promise.
This whole expectation versus reality thing, it's not exactly new for One Piece. We actually just saw the same kind of dynamic play out with the Yamato cover story not too long ago. Oh man, the hopes for that cover story were through the roof. People were predicting everything. Blackbeard was going to show up, we'd get massive hints about the Final Saga, Yamato would finally start their journey to join the crew, the whole shebang.
And what do we actually get? We got Yamato taking a nice tour of Wano, finishing Oden's journey. It was a sweet character moment for sure, but a lot of fans felt, well, kind of let down. So it makes you wonder, right? Why would Oda build up all that hype for something so quiet?
It all comes down to one simple, brilliant reason: narrative pacing. It's a deliberate choice. Just think about it for a second. Yamato has a mythical zone, all 3 types of hockey. They're an absolute monster. If they joined the crew right before Egghead or Elbaf, they would have completely thrown off the power balance. It's just like with Jinbei. Oda's waiting for the perfect time to add that kind of strength.
Okay, so keeping that idea of narrative pacing in our back pocket, let's head back to God Valley, and let's focus on the 2 characters who were really at the center of this whole thing, Monkey D. Dragon and his father, Monkey D. Garp. And would you believe it? We see that exact same theme pop up again. We were all geared up for Dragon's big hero origin, right? We thought we'd see him get his crazy wind powers and become a total powerhouse. But what Oda gave us was so much deeper. It wasn't the origin of his power, it was the origin of his ideology. He saw the absolute evil of the celestial dragons and realized the justice he fought for was a total lie. But the big turning point for him wasn't getting a power-up, it was his failure. That overwhelming feeling of being powerless. It's so much like what Luffy went through at Marineford, isn't it? That was the real spark. He realized he didn't just need to be stronger, he needed to tear the whole rotten system down. And then there's Garp. His role in this flashback just makes his character even more complicated. You see the criticism everywhere. How could he see this level of evil and just stay a Marine? It's a fair question. But the other side of the coin is that maybe Garp was playing the long game. Instead of open rebellion, he worked from the inside, training a new generation of good Marines like Kobe and supporting Sword. That could be his ultimate move in the final war. So what is the one thing that connects all these different pieces? All the fights that didn't happen, the characters who haven't joined yet, the origin stories that went in a totally different direction. It all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful number.
38. 38 years. That's how much time has passed between the God Valley incident and where we are in the story right now.
And that single fact changes everything. These aren't plot holes, they're Oda's narrative playground. In 38 years, a person's entire philosophy can change. Look at Kaido. And that legendary showdown between Whitebeard and Garling that we were all waiting for, it can still happen. God Valley wasn't the end of their story, it was just the beginning. And that's really the big takeaway from all this, isn't it? The God Valley flashback wasn't just about giving us answers to old questions. It was about totally resetting our expectations.
It was Oda teaching us that in a story this massive, our theories are just the beginning of the journey. The reality is almost always more surprising and, honestly, a whole lot more exciting.